The metropolis of New York, a vast web of cement, steel, and dreams, is built upon a subsoil more dense and complex than any other city in modern history. Its geology and underground engineering, a maze of subway lines, utility tunnels, steam pipes, and high-voltage cable chambers, are mapped with obsessive precision, the result of nearly 400 years of planning and excavation. For this reason, when Dr. Alistair Hayes' team discovered a subterranean anomaly beneath the heart of Manhattan, the initial reaction was not one of excitement, but of absolute disbelief and a latent fear of a monumental technical error. Give it a like, subscribe, and share. Let's begin. Dr. Hayes, a geophysicist from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, led an ultra-high-resolution seismic mapping project, jointly funded by the Metropolitan Transportation Authority and the U.S. Department of Energy. His goal was to calibrate the stability of the bedrock, primarily Manhattan schist, beneath critical structures such as Grand Central Terminal and the Hudson River Tunnel connecting to New Jersey. Using a new active seismic tomography technology that sent low-frequency pulses into the subsoil and measured the rebound echoes with centimeters precision, Hayes expected to find natural variations in rock density. What he found, at a depth of 80 meters, was a perfect cavity that did not correspond to any known structure. The anomaly stretched beneath the sector of West 34th Street and 7th Avenue, just on the periphery of the busy Penn Station and Macy's department store. The tunnel, according to the probe data, was cylindrical in shape with a uniform diameter of approximately 6 meters and extended in a straight line southward for over 3 kilometers, before the signal abruptly vanished beneath the dense metallic structures of Lower Manhattan. Denial was the first response. Hayes' team spent 4 weeks conducting additional soundings from 6 different access points. Every seismic pulse confirmed the existence of the cavity. It was not a natural cave. The walls showed a uniformity and smoothness that could only be the product of engineering. It was not an abandoned subway tunnel. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority records from the 19th and 20th centuries were meticulous and showed no project of this scale in that location. It simply should not exist. The mystery deepened when a team of retired tunnel engineers, convened by the Department of Energy, examined the resonance data. The cavity was excavated directly into the Manhattan schist, one of the hardest rocks on the planet. The tunnel was not lined with the usual bricks, concrete, or cast iron of New York public works. The rock walls were polished to a crystal-like sheen and appeared to have been melted or cut with a technology that had no place in the city's known history. Access became the next critical phase. After intense coordination with the New York Police Department and the Department of Subterranean Affairs, an ultra-secret excavation permit was obtained in the basement of an unoccupied office building near 29th Street. After 28 days of drilling and the operation of specialized machinery, the team broke through the rock at 79 meters deep. The air rushing out of the tunnel was cold, dry, and completely sterile. It did not smell of moisture, rust, or mold, the characteristic odors of any old excavation in New York. Dr. Elena Rivas, a Spanish geoarchaeologist specializing in Roman and pre-Columbian underground structures, was the first to descend. When the chamber was illuminated with powerful LED lights, the scale of the anomaly became physical. The tunnel was perfectly round. The dark schist walls shone with a grayish reflection, and the floor was a uniform flat and smooth surface, like a polished ice rink. There was no debris, no standing water, and no garbage from any era. It was pristine. What made Dr. Rivas's heart pound was not the perfection of the engineering, but the absence of tool marks and the lack of cutting marks. It seemed the rock had been excavated by intense heat or focused sound, leaving no trace of conventional drilling or blasting methods. Along the tunnel, at intervals of approximately 30 meters, were circular niches carved into the walls, each about 1 meter in diameter. These niches contained what appeared to be lighting units based on large quartz crystals carved with complex geometry. These crystals were not operational, but their surfaces were intact. The team advanced on foot to the south, driven by the need to find the origin or destination of the structure. The walk was silent and strange. The tunnel's acoustics were unique. The cylindrical shape created a resonance that amplified low-frequency sounds, but at the same time, muffled human voices. At a distance of 1 kilometer and 600 meters from the access point, Dr. Rivas stopped the team. On the wall, Between two of the crystal niches, there was a symbol carved into the polished rock, the only element that broke the tunnel's perfect uniformity. The symbol resembled nothing known in Western, Eastern, or pre-Columbian symbology. It was an abstract form that combined three intertwined spirals in a circle, floating above a horizontal line that seemed to represent a horizon or a surface plane. Hayes, upon seeing the image on the surface monitor, felt a chill that had nothing to do with the tunnel's low temperature. The symbol was an act of ownership, a marker left by the builders. The mystery deepened as they approached the tunnel's endpoint. The seismic signal had indicated that the tunnel abruptly ended near Wall Street, but the team found something else. The tunnel did not end in a wall. It opened into a large, oval-shaped subterranean chamber, about 50 meters long and 30 meters wide, excavated with the same crystalline perfection. The center of the chamber was dominated by a monolithic structure of dark stone, later identified as iron-rich obsidian, not native to New York. The monolithic obsidian measured approximately 10 meters high. Its shape was that of a perfect pentagonal prism, carved with a series of engraved symbols that repeated in cycles of 28, numbers that archaeology associates with ancient calendars and astronomical cycles. The team circled the monolith. At the base of the structure, they found 8 seats carved into the rock, arranged in a semicircle, like a ceremonial amphitheater. The seats appeared to have been used. The crystalline quartz of the seat walls showed slight wear from contact that was not consistent with the passage of centuries, but with repeated friction. Give it a like, subscribe, and share. Dr. Rivas, using a portable electromagnetic field scanner, detected an anomalous reading emanating from the monolith. It was not radioactivity. It was a powerful emission of low-frequency waves that corresponded unsettlingly with the Schumann resonance, the Earth's fundamental frequency, but amplified to an unnatural level. Dr. Hayes theorized from the surface, this structure is not a transportation tunnel. It's an energy channel or a ceremonial link. The quartz crystals are likely resonance amplifiers that used the Manhattan schist as a conductor. The obsidian monolith is the generator. The question of who and when built this engineering marvel without leaving a single trace in the records of New York's history became the central obsession of the team. The evidence ruled out every known civilization. The Dutch and colonial English, their technology and records would make it impossible, and their methods would leave crude traces. Native Americans, Lenape. Although they had a deep knowledge of the territory, their culture was Stone Age. They lacked the cutting technology or knowledge of alloys implied by the tunnel's uniformity. The Romans or ancient European civilizations. Although masters of subterranean engineering, they never ventured to the American continent, and their blasting and masonry techniques were radically different. The only conclusion that did not defy the laws of physics, but did defy the laws of history, was that the tunnel had been built by an unknown civilization with advanced subterranean technology at a time that the history of humanity on the American continent did not recognize. The dilemma of the tunnel's age was solved, or complicated, with the analysis of microfossils and organic sediment trapped in the microscopic fissures of the polished rock. Dr. Sato, a paleontologist called to the team, found pollen spores and moss particles that, according to carbon-14 dating, were over 20,000 years old. 20,000 years. In that period, Manhattan was covered by the Laurentide ice sheet, part of the last ice age. The idea that an advanced civilization had excavated a perfect tunnel 80 meters deep into the bedrock under 10 kilometers of glacial ice was, in Dr. Hayes's words, an offense to geology and logic. The tunnel, therefore, had to predate the last ice age, a theory that placed the builders at a time when humanity was barely migrating out of Africa. The secret of the tunnel was elevated to the highest security level. The tunnel, dubbed Structure Zero, or E0, became the most classified research project in the United States. The implication was too vast to be released to the public. The existence of a pre-glacial civilization with energy-cutting technology and a knowledge of terrestrial resonance that surpassed modern understanding. This could rewrite human chronology, archaeology, and cosmology. The team spent months exploring the chamber, hoping to find artifacts or remains that would give some clue to the identity of the builders. They found no bones, tools, or any objects of daily use. The builders apparently had meticulously cleaned every trace of their presence, leaving only the monumental evidence of their engineering and the ritual purpose of the chamber. Dr. Hayes and Dr. Rivas reached a consensus conclusion that, although speculative, was the only one that fit. The tunnel was not built for travel, but for manipulating the Earth's telluric energy. E0 acted as a resonator that channeled energy from the Manhattan schist toward the central chamber, where the obsidian monolith acted as a frequency transformer, and the arrangement of the seats indicated a collective ritual of tuning in to the planet's resonance. The revelation of E0 forced the scientific community to face the possibility that history was not a linear progression of technology, but a cycle of ascent and decline, and that what modern humanity considered the pinnacle of civilization might be only a resurgence of knowledge lost thousands of years ago. The tunnel that should not exist beneath New York was a silent monument to an unimaginably distant past, a memory engraved in stone of a civilization that understood that true power resided in coherence with the Earth's fundamental energy, a secret hidden beneath the world's noisiest and densest city. The moral dilemma of whether or not to reveal this historical and technological secret became the burden of the 41 scientists and government agents who knew the truth, a secret as vast as the city itself. Give it a like, subscribe, and share.